You're welcome to Beginner Piano Lesson 6. In Lesson 5, we looked at the major scale and how to run the major scale using the lessons we learned in fingering. Today we're going to be looking at intervals. Excuse me. Intervals. What's an interval? An interval is the musical distance between two or more notes. Yes, an interval is a musical distance between two or more notes. And this interval can be measured in basically two distinct ways. Basically two ways. Can be measured in tones and semitones. These intervals can be measured in two distinct ways, tones and semitones. What is a tone? Anytime you hear the word tone, it simply refers to one. Or you can say whole. Or you can say complete. When you hear the word a tone, it simply means one, whole, or complete. And then when you hear the term a semitone simply refers to half. So when you have an orange that is cut into two, one of that part of the orange, it can be referred to as your semi because it's half. So when you bring in two halves, you have one. Now let's come to the keyboard. Now we said it's a musical distance between two or more notes. Now if I hold this note now and I press this other note, this distance is what we refer to as the interval. This distance is what we refer to as the interval. And we said this interval can best be expressed in tones and semitone. Now, how do we figure out a semitone here? When I press this, if I move from this note to this black note now, I have moved a semitone because that's half. And two semitones make a tone. So from here to here is just a semitone, and then from here to here is a semitone, which simply means therefore if I move from this note to this note, I have moved one tone. It's that clear. If I move from the first note, which is supposed to be my C, to the next note, I have simply moved one tone. So in other words, if I move from C down to a C sharp, yes, when I hold this C, if I move to this black note is referred to as a C sharp. So from a C to a C sharp is a semitone. A C to a C sharp is a semitone. And a C sharp to a D is another semitone. So when you add these two semitones, you get a tone. Which simply means therefore that if I move a C to a D, I will have a tone. It's that clear. It's that clear. Yes, so that's how you measure a tone and a semitone. A tone and a semitone. Now, for you to be able to run this scale, there is a formula that supports the major scale. There is a particular formula that supports the major scale. This takes us to formula of a major scale. The formula simply states tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, which you can also refer to as your whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now let's see if this formula is true. When we have our C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then you are to apply this formula to C. Remember, this is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Between C and D is a tone. Between D and E is another tone. But between E and F will give us a semitone. Now let's watch this. Between C and D is a tone. Why? Because you have a black note in between there, which makes it a tone. Between D and E is another tone. Why? Because you have a black note in between them there, which makes it a tone. But between E and F is a semitone because you don't have any black notes here. So you have your C here, you have D, you have E, and then you have F. Now, so between C and D is a tone, D and E is a tone, but E and F gives you a semitone. Now between F and G you have a tone, G and A you have a tone, A and B you have a tone, but B and C you have a semitone. Which simply means from F now, F to G it's a tone because there's a note there, G to A is a tone because you have a black note there, A to B is a tone because you have a black note there, but B to C is a semitone because there is no black note. So F, G, A, B, and C. This is the formula you use to be able to run your major scale on any key. This we have just done on key C, but you can apply this to running your scale on any key at all. Hope this video has been helpful. Come again with us to Beginner Piano Lesson 7.